Hello, Money Queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hello, listeners and Money Queens viewers. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, actually your co-host today, because we have the divorce diva, the amazing Donna Cates with us, who is our divorce go-to guru, our divorce source at the Women's Wealth Boutique. So thank you so much, Donna, for being on with us here at Women Behind the Millions.
It is my pleasure. And I'm really excited to introduce you guys to somebody I actually met through my marketing for divorce work. So it's a small world because I was actually out there hunting for people that could help me. And I discovered Jennifer quite by accident, really, because we actually share a passion. But what I want to tell you is that I know Jennifer as the girl on the mountaintop that shares beautiful pictures every single morning.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. The Facebook posts are unbelievable, from mountain bears and hummingbirds galore. She feeds them from her hand, from her porch window. So anyway, none of that's really relevant to today, except that how fabulous of a person she is. But my thing is, I want everybody to know I know Jennifer as my sunshine. Literally, she just makes me feel good and smile and happy anytime I'm in conversation with her or even reading about her. So I'm going to introduce you as this. Jennifer is known to the big world at large as a coach, a counselor, a consultant, an author, and a speaker. But my favorite is quiet and badass.
I heard that needs a round of applause. There we go.
That's the name of her.
I gotta fix my eyes here. Hold on. That is like
I know. And I think that was the most recent book. So Jennifer, elaborate on that and tell us more about yourself, who you are and what you do.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know how do I live up to that? Like being your son, that was very literally the sweetest introduction I've ever had. You're going to have to go on the road with me.
That was a great intro, Donna. That was a second career there.
it meant a lot to me. And Donna's right. We did meet. She was actually marketing and sent over some information about finance. And I was like, hey, we seem to be doing the same thing. And we hopped on a call together, and it's been a great friendship ever since. And I'm equally delighted to have her in my life. And, so it's just a good thing. But for me, I've been in the financial services industry for 20 plus years. I'm a registered financial consultant. I'm a safe money expert and smart money kind of person. I do majority of safe money investing for my clients. And that's everything from life insurance to long-term care to annuity to income planning. I like to call it alimony continuation. And I do a lot. 90% of my clientele are divorcees. And, we have just a wonderful time. About 6 years ago, I created the Divorce Divas, and it's a community of women who you can appreciate this. When somebody goes through a divorce, you need more than just an attorney. Mm-hmm. You need to have somebody that may have to help you sell your house, plan your taxes, help you, cope through some things, emotionally and mentally you're going with. So you need counselors. You may need a mechanic for your car. And the last person you want to talk to is a male mechanic at this point. So we have female mechanics in the circle, female mortgage brokers. So we just saw a need to further uplift our community of women that were going through divorce. And I knew that I kind of checked the box for the financial aspect of things and the coaching side, but I needed another group of experts to come along with me. I have written 2 books. The first book was with Jack Canfield. Those of you know him for the Chicken Soup for the Soul. I was a contributing author in his book, Dare to Succeed. And then recently in September of 2022, released Quiet and Badass. I am not quiet, but I am a badass. So that was part of the reason why I entered the book. And it was just a collaborative work with 18 other women from across the globe. And that hit bestseller. They both hit bestseller the same day that they came out. And in my spare time, I am a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker. So we have 3 movies that are releasing. One of them is releasing on January 31st called It's Happening Right Here, which is about trafficking, human trafficking of your children in your own home. And that one is out. The Truth About Reading is coming out. And the Dick Vitale story was just on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So that's what I do in my spare time.
I'm
and
a
hang out the
huge
window.
Dick Vitale fan, so you just sold me on that. But
yeah,
Jennifer, how did you get into all of these things? This is amazing. Your mind just must constantly be moving.
Well, as far as how did I get originally into what I do, or how did I get into the film stuff?
The film, your writing, business, and most women like, how do you handle all of this?
Well, I'm very big on the fact that telling people's stories, writing your own story, first of all, is the most important thing. Telling people's stories, shining a light on things that people need to be aware of, reading, subliteracy. Dick Vitale, I've known him most of my life just because he would come in through the TV set in my home, but got to know him because of what he did for children cancer research, and became very good friends with him and his wife, Lorraine, and have spent time with them. But I believe it's just really important to continue to help other people tell their stories. Yes. Part of the reason why I do what I do is because 30 some years ago, I was in a very abusive marriage that really defined my life. I came out of that. He went to prison. I had 2 small children, and I had to figure out how to pick up the pieces of my life by myself. Wow. And there was a lot of things that I turned to find that help, and I couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. And then as you continue to kind of go through life and the trials, you make triumphs, and your mess, you make your message. I got to a point in my life where I was like, I need to become the woman that I desperately needed. I needed to become her for other women. Mm-hmm. So I'm also the kind of person that believes you meet people for a reason. Yes. Just like I met Donna for an absolute reason, on purpose. And you just continue to bring those people into your fold. This isn't a competition. We're supposed to be there to uplift each other and to adjust each other's crowns without telling the world that they were ever crooked. So I'm very big on female empowerment, if you haven't figured that one out.
I love it. Everything you said is just beautiful. And what a strong, powerful story to share with your audience, with the women who are going through a struggle too. That's amazing that you're able to make it through all that.
Thank you.
And Jennifer, I would love to ask if you can tell us a little bit about how your story, it obviously created for you the knowing that we're not all just working by ourselves, that we need a community to get the things that we need in order to grow. But tell me how your experience had impacted your focus on money mindset, because I know that mindset is a lot of the training and coaching that you do with women. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, absolutely. I noticed it probably stuck out to me the most when I was previously married. I've been married a couple times, and previously married, and my ex-husband had a financial advisory firm. I handled all the female people that came in. We were an RIA, and he did all the money management. I did all the safe money things. But as I noticed, we had a very different approach. Somebody would come in and he would take on the role of handling everything that they had in their life rather than bringing the client along with them. And as I was working with women, it was very important that no matter if you're married, single, whatever, that you are independent in the middle of it. You have your own independence plan. You know how to share about your money, you know how to talk about it, you know how to do all those things. And with women, there were a lot of other stuff that was floating around that was way more important them being hands-on in their money. So we really started looking at what all those blocks were. A lot of them came from myths that they had about their money growing up, that maybe their parents instilled, or their experiences instilled, or their marriage instilled in them. And they couldn't figure out, they just had no connectivity whatsoever with money. And when they sat across the table from me and I told them I wasn't going to fix everything for them, I was going to help them walk down this path of self-awareness and empowerment and all the stuff that they needed to do to be in charge of their money, it was a shift for them to now have to start confronting the things in their life that was blocking them from really taking control. So when I work with clients, I always start at, what is your money personality? We go through a quiz, we identify what it is. It teaches them, okay, this is why you react the way you do to money. This is something that's in your way we have to work through. So I've always been a coach, but not so much in the mindset space, as I've seen over the past few years, the evolution of that it just really, really needed to happen and to take place. So I work through getting rid of all of those blocks, because if you're going to react a certain way to money, it's not everything in the world, but money makes the world go round. And how you're going to react to money and how you're going to make decisions about money is going to affect every other aspect of your life. So we have to start uncovering all of those blocks, moving them into a place of feeling confident and feeling them financially fearless. And then it's easy to just kind of continue to go down this path of just kicking the blocks out of every other area of their life. So mindset and everything is huge.
It all starts with mindset, it sounds like.
Oh, everything.
Or
everything
it should.
else.
It should start with mindset. The word
should. You're absolutely right. It should. But sometimes people don't realize how incredibly powerful your mindset is, and how it is the one thing out of everything you have in your life that you have 100% control of. But it's teaching you it's having somebody teach you how to use it, embrace it, not be afraid of it. And you wouldn't think that it was like this own thing, but it really is.
Not to be afraid of it. I love that.
And it's a very subconscious thing because it's so ingrained in us. So to have someone like you bring it to the forefront where we're at least aware of it, then we can impact change, I think. So I'd love to hear, what with the women that you're working with, what are some of the major problems that you're encountering and helping them work through?
I think the number one major thing that I see is that they're not putting themselves first. And I think for a lot of women, they feel that that's selfish, but here you are worrying about everything else that is going on around you and in your life, and you're worrying about yourself last, and you're going to end up at a point in your life that you never wanted to be. And I know, Donna, you've dealt with this with people that are retiring and they come to you and they're like, I'm retiring now. Fix me for the next 30 years. And you're like, you should have met me 20 years ago or 15 years ago or 10 years ago. So I think for a lot of women, I'm noticing that they're not making themselves a priority. They're procrastinating. And then they're just blaming everybody else. It's my ex's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my kid's fault. They don't give me enough time. It's the holidays. It's taxes. It's all of these other excuses, when the only person you can blame is the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. And I think that's hard for a lot of women to hear, but they have to hear it. They're not having people around them in their lives that are saying, you really just need to get your, what together. But I was born and raised in Philly. So I'm going to straight up tell you, you need to get your what together, or don't complain about it.
Ooh, that's a powerful shift. I'm sure you can see it in the room when they are ready to take that accountability and take that power back, because then you're just giving the power to everybody else.
Absolutely. And depending upon their circumstance, if I meet them coming, if they're transitioning out of an abusive relationship or a marriage where they had no control over anything in their life, or, they're going through a career change, or, I just recently went through a really serious medical issue. Maybe they're going through something in their life that they just are completely out of control and they do not know how to reprioritize themselves or to reclaim their life. And you have to walk them to that. And it's easier when they just bet on themselves. And they're like, you know what? I was referred to you. I hear it all the time. I was referred to you. Don't really know what I'm doing here. I don't really know what it is you're going to do for me. I'm a hot mess. And I'm like, well, you have about 3 minutes to be a hot mess. And then we're going to start, peeling back what we have to fix. And so you're right. It's a powerful thing for people to take accountability. It's not easy.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, when someone comes to you going, oh, I'm a hot mess and I don't know how you're going to help me, but I was told that you're the person to help me. What kind of, what path does that take? Is it like a 2 or 3 meeting thing, or a 6-month relationship? Describe that to us.
Sure. So, it's different for each person. I have people that come to me that, they're really struggling with something and they need an hour of my time. That's it. They just need somebody, they need a thinking partner that they can sit here and say, I do not know what I need to do. I need you to help me uncover what my options are. That's very rare, because a lot of times once somebody works with me and they see how much I'm there for them and that I show up for them and that I hold them accountable. I have clients that have been clients of mine for 15 years. It literally just really depends. What I try to do in the divorce setting, what I do is I come alongside of, whether they're going through a divorce and they're in the middle or they're on the end, I come alongside of their attorneys, or I come alongside of their life and I say, okay, listen, we need to start separating the emotion from what you need to do. And we need to start paying attention. We will have that time to sort out the emotion, but you have got to keep the momentum moving forward. So for a lot of women, most of my women now, I talk to them once a week, a couple times a month. There are some that I talk to every week, and we are very, very hands-on. So everything that I do is completely custom tailored around what the client needs. And I'm not here to tell you. I could look at you and say, we are going to be friends for a long time because you need it. But, I give them the options. I'm not going anywhere. I have financial planning clients that are now coaching clients just because of accountability.
Sure.
Just for somebody to hold them. Just like you hire a coach, you hire a fitness person, you hire, you're trying to learn a new instrument, you go to a teacher who's going to hold you accountable and see your progress. That's the exact same thing that I do. It's just all custom tailored around what the client needs.
Wow. I just want to say, before the next question, Donna, this is such an amazing example of when you do target marketing or niche marketing and you find who you can best serve, where you can have the most impact, and you just drill in on what are their needs, what's going to help them get through it, what's going to give them the best results, the most transformation. Like Jennifer, you are a prime example, Donna, you as well, with the divorce work. You know exactly what these women are going through. You know how to best show up for them. So people who are listening, remember this. I think we're trained to work with everybody, and you can't have that much impact. But you two ladies are changing the divorce world for these women and the industry, and how people and experts can help them. So I just wanted to make a point of that. It's amazing work, because I can feel these women that you're working with. I can see them. I can picture them. You're that in depth in the details, in their emotions, their mindset. It's amazing.
I appreciate that. And I think that you're right. There are a lot of things. Donna and I are trying to create a revolution in this space, because I think the biggest thing, if you look at the divorce process by itself, an attorney's job is to get them divorced. And that's normally when I meet most of my clients. I have great relationships with attorneys that say, this person, divorce is over. They need to start their new life. They desperately need you. So that's where I come in. But where an attorney kind of hands it off and leaves, Donna and I aren't doing that. Whether she's managing money or she's doing mediation or whatever we're doing together, we are not there. Like, we do not disappear. I have clients that I probably couldn't get rid of them if I tried to get rid of them, because now most of them have been to my house in the mountains. They know where I live. So I couldn't get rid of them, because when you have somebody who is such a strong, positive advocate in your life, and they are there to pick you up, that have been through what you've been through, that can say, I've been there. There were times, yep, I didn't want to be here anymore. Yep, there were times I had 2 cents to my name. There were times where I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything. Nobody was ever going to love me again. I wasn't going to be successful. When you can relate to somebody on that direct, literally direct, I have been in your shoes, it is powerful. And you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that connectivity. And there are so many traditional wealth managers, and there are so many people that are here to help you move different pieces of your life in the financial world, because that's all they do. It's a transaction and it's done. You're lucky if you get an annual review or you get a birthday card. You know what I mean? Like it's it. And I think one of the reasons why I was really attracted to working with Donna and who she was as a person is she felt exactly the same that I did. She didn't want to let anybody down. She wanted people to know that we were here and that we're going to continue to show up. And that is desperately needed in today's day and age, for sure.
Yes, it's a breath of fresh air.
And I will tell you, let me comment on this because I do a lot of work as women are going through the divorce process. So rather than being introduced to them at the tail end of the divorce, I'm oftentimes involved early on. But it's always a constant struggle because nobody wants to do the money stuff. No, because they're so wrapped up in the emotions and what the attorney says that they have to get done. So I'm actually helping to educate them on that, like you said, Jennifer, separating the emotions from the money, number one. And it also saves them a lot of money because they're not spending a lot of time, crying and all of that with their attorneys while they're on the clock. But then the bigger thing is that helping them to understand that the attorney's job is to dissolve the marriage. It's not to understand what the long-term financial impact is going to be on these crucial decisions that are being made when they're divorcing. So I think that's where we come in, is helping people make informed decisions while they're in the divorce process before they actually sign the dotted line and it's done. Because that's what, when they show up for you, Jennifer, for that post-divorce planning, they have what they have, and that's what they have to work with, regardless of whether it was the best outcome or not, right?
Well, and you're absolutely right. And that's something that I've been reaching out recently to the attorneys that I work with. And I'm like, you need to bring me in as soon as you have somebody that sits down with you for a consultation. Mm-hmm. You need to bring me in at that point. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a new divorcee or somebody going down this path they've never experienced, who is going to spend so much of your time and your money talking about what just happened. Mm-hmm. You need to send them to me so that they can talk to me about what has happened. And I'm going to help them mentally move down this path so that when you're trying to get them as the attorney to understand the process, to move into the discovery, to move into the settlement or the mediation, they already know. We've role played. Her and I have role played before they've gotten to you about you're not going to get everything you want. This isn't going to be like sunshines and rainbows and unicorns for everybody. You are going to have to understand that. So not only are we both individually saving the client money, because we're not going to be charging as much as sitting there running a clock. I love attorneys, but as much as running, it's going. We can get them mentally prepared, financially prepared, organized. It makes their job as an attorney much better. So I've told them, I'm like, listen, yes, I'm great in the recovery and the aftercare. You need to bring me in at the very front so that I can get them forward thinking, because they're a job, like you said, attorney's job is to work in the present. We're done. You and I are looking in the future, an area that they're not trained to look.
That's a huge differentiator. Yeah, the attorneys are there for the law, right? The legal aspect of the divorce. But as you both said so beautifully, that it's they're not looking at the money, they're not looking at the finances down the road, even giving them their client the tools to be able to handle the finances, from day-to-day bill paying to budgeting, cash flow management, all of that. Huge change. I think the women should talk to you before even the attorneys. Right?
Well, I'm starting
to handle on the finances before I even go through the divorce.
I've had a couple recently, and both of them found me on Instagram. Like, they weren't a referral or anything. They found me on Instagram and they're like, you know what? We're watching your affirmations. I'm watching the stuff you're saying. I really need to get my act together because I know my husband and I are talking about going down this path. And if I don't have it together up here, I'm going to fall apart for myself. I'm going to fall apart for my kids. I'm going to fall apart for work. So there are women that are out there that are really understanding. I know I'm going to have to get my, what together, because this is going to get ugly and my kids need to at least have some grounding in what's going to happen. So I'm getting that more, before you would get it on the other side. But I think just as I don't know, the world is evolving and social media is all over the place now, and people can see all these big marriages in Hollywood falling apart and people not having their wills and all that stuff in place. Like, there are people that are really paying attention and like, I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be the legacy that I leave behind for my kids or even myself. So there's a new sense of awareness that I have seen over the past year, really much since the pandemic hit. I don't know if because people are spending more time with themselves, I don't know, or doing more reading, but there is a new sense of, you know what, I've got to take things more seriously in my life.
Yeah, new set of priorities.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Well, I'm just grateful to know you and have you as part of my world and the Divorce Divas and the Divorce Source and all the things that we're creating. Right, Jessica?
Yes, this is amazing. And the support system. Women, we are social beings. We love that connection, and that you already have that built in, that the women can step into and feel that there's women who have their back is huge, especially right now. Money can feel so isolating and shameful, judge, guilt. To have that support is so needed. Where you talked about Instagram. So what are you doing? We talked about Facebook. We got these amazing pictures. Was it hummingbirds? You said a lot of pictures. I mean, that's a very symbolic bird, right? In itself, we could probably talk a whole episode on that.
Yes.
Hummingbirds. So where can people find you, Jennifer?
Well, I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Majority of them, my handles are just J Perri Coaching, and that's Perri with an I, 2 R's. So JPERRI Coaching. I do have a Facebook group called Sheroes in Training. And right now we are doing a 30-day challenge to greater self-love. We are in day 11, and I'm talking about decluttering your environment, spring cleaning your home, your mind, your space, everything. So I run challenges quite often on what I do. I come on and I do mountaintop motivation. That really is just, if I have something in the week that a client has really come to me that's struggling, I always want to talk on it. This morning, I released something about removing the need of perfection in your life. It should be progress over perfection. So just find me. I'm pretty much everywhere.
We'll have those links available for everybody listening. I love the challenges, the motivation, the support there. Get into Jennifer's world. And then I know, Donna, you too have a ton of support. You have your second Saturday workshops, your second helping. So where can people find you too, Donna?
My web address is www.moneymatterswealth.com. And then I'm on Facebook under my name, Donna Cates, and LinkedIn as well.
Get in touch with these women. Every woman knows at least one person going through a divorce or have been belly bruised or thinking about it. Get in touch with these women sooner than later, because it's going to change. As you said, Jennifer, getting mentally prepared to go into it, financially prepared going into the divorce. It's almost like you have two different plans, right? You have the plan to get you through the divorce, and then you have that long-term plan. You need both sides of it. So thank you, Donna, for introducing us to Jennifer. What an amazing interview. So many good nuggets here. I'm sure we'll have to do this again because it was a lot of fun too. What's one thing that people can change their mindset, Jennifer, today? What's one thing they can do to change their mindset?
Oh my goodness. One thing they can do to change their mindset, I think really focus on present moment mindset. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Don't worry about what's coming down the pike in the future. Just look at your feet. Remember right now you're grounded, and be focused on the present.
Ooh, that's a good one. What about you, Donna? What's one thing that helps you with your mindset?
And it's funny that Jennifer should say that, because my word for the year, and I don't know if you'll remember this, Jessica, is present. So for me, it's all about being in the moment as well. It's amazing.
Being in the moment. I'm going to say gratitude. And where the focus is, right? If you're focusing on the mess, more of the mess is going to come, right? It's going to find you. It's just going to amplify. Focusing on where you want to focus. I love that you said, Jennifer, being present, you too, Donna, because even in the Bible, God says, don't worry about tomorrow. there's enough today. I got tomorrow. Just focus on where you are right now and what are 3 things you can be grateful for in the moment, and you can get those shifts and stuff. But real quick, why hummingbirds? Is there a story behind that, Jennifer? I have a hummingbird story, but
so they've always been around me in my life, and it's just an odd thing. And I have a very interesting connection to animals in general. Like I swear if I ever walked onto a bear, or we have bears in our backyard all the time, they wouldn't run from me. They wouldn't, so I've always had hummingbirds. Then we bought a condo and we were on the 17th floor, and I put a hummingbird, just a feeder, on the window. And my husband's like, they are never going to come up here. They're not. Sure enough, they came up here. So then we moved to the mountains, and hummingbirds come to elevation, higher elevation first. I put out 1 feeder, then I put out 2 feeders. Then we had about 15 feeders out, and I have them on my office windows. And I said to my husband, I'm like, before this is over, they're going to be eaten out of my hand. And he's like, okay. So now they do. They'll sit on my hand. They eat out of the feeders. They come into my office on rainy days. I'll leave the windows open. They come into my office. There's a feeder that sits on my desk. They'll drink out of it. They flitter around. They go back out the door. And it's amazing. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see it. You'll probably be like, enough with the hummingbirds already. Like, you'll see it
amazing
when it comes into season.
I've read that it's a symbol of past loved ones coming back to see you. We had put our fur baby, our dog, down a few years ago. And for a week, there was a hummingbird that would come right when I was sitting at the kitchen table and stare at me in the kitchen every day for a week. And every once in a while, I'll still see it, even if we don't have any flowers there. It could be the dead of winter. They're coming and they're just staring like, Eric, there's Duke, I swear. It's weird. But, and then I looked it up as a symbol for it. So this year I bought myself an ornament that had a hummingbird with a crown on it. And I'm like, there we go.
Awesome. Nice.
Big fan of the hummingbird. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being on here tonight with us. Thank you so much, Donna. And thank you to everybody listening, supporting Women Behind the Millions. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for you. We love you, our money queens, and we will see you on our next episode.